welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we have an unusual puzzle indeed for you. This is a co-collaboration, so it's by two constructors. It's by the constructors Aronimus and Pietato. The puzzle is called To the Skies, and two of our testers have said that this is one of the most remarkable puzzles we have ever featured on Cracking the Cryptic, because apparently the break into this is perhaps the most beautiful thing there's ever been in Sudoku, which is high praise indeed. But our testers do a lot of puzzles, and if two of them are saying this, it ought to be very interesting indeed. Now, apparently what happened with the creation of this puzzle is that Aronimus came up with the break-in, came up with this magnificent idea, and then was very concerned that in finishing the puzzle, in adding clues to the puzzle to make it unique, they would ruin the break-in. So they tasked Pietato, who's one of the world's great constructors, with crafting a finish to the puzzle, which Pietato then did, and this is the result. So we have sort of a break-in courtesy of Aronimus and a finish courtesy of Pietato, the best of both worlds. And I'm really looking forward to trying this. As I say, it's very rare that we get a puzzle which has been eulogized over to this degree. And apparently it is approachable, this one as well, which is magnificent. So I'll read you the rules of this in just a second. Couple of things I wanted to mention first. Over on Patreon, Mark has released his latest solve of the Times Club Monthly Special Cryptic Crossword. I know a lot of you look out for that. We do that every month. That is now out, so have a look at that. You can also check out my solve of this magnificent beast, Fillomino Aquarium by Phistomefel, one of the greatest puzzles I've ever done. It's a 90-minute video, so you might need your popcorn for that one. I make no excuses though, it's quite hard, but it is beautifully brilliant. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask is, can any of you help us? Because this is our Twitter account. It's at Cryptic Cracking, because apparently Cracking the Cryptic is too many characters to have that as your name on Twitter. So our Twitter handle, you can see, is at Cryptic Cracking. And yesterday I appealed to Twitter to give us a blue tick. If you get a blue tick on Twitter, it basically means you really are who you say you are. And we really are Cracking the Cryptic. And it should be pretty obvious to anyone who looks at this that we really are the same as Cracking the Cryptic, the YouTube channel. But they didn't. I don't know if they didn't believe us, or we're not popular enough, or something. But they rejected it. So I don't know if any of you out there have a contact with Twitter who could make them review this decision and convince them that we really are who we say we are. We would be most grateful. And you can see, you should definitely give us a follow on Twitter anyway. We tweet about all things puzzle related that are interesting. So yeah, give us a follow, and maybe someone out there can help us with the mysteries of social media. We need a lot of help, and we would be most grateful. Anyway, that said and done, let's get on with To the Skies, and I'll read you the rules. They are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Cells separated by a knight's move in chess cannot contain the same digit. So we've got knight's move restriction today. So let's imagine the central cell of the grid is a 1. That would mean if it was a chess knight, it could jump to, not that square, all of these squares, and therefore none of these highlighted cells could contain a 1, because if they did, they'd be a knight's move apart, and in this puzzle that is illegal. Now, the green lines, yes, adjacent digits on a green line must have a difference of at least 5. So some of you will know this as a so-called German whispers constraint. And the way this works is, let's imagine this square was a 3. Now this cell would have to be at least 5 away from 3. So it would have to either be 8 or 9. Nothing else, no other valid Sudoku digit would be 5 away from 3. So this could go 3, 9, and then this cell would have to be 5 away from 9. So this could be a 4, or a 1, or a 2. Obviously it couldn't be a 3 because there's already a 3 in the box. So that's how German whispers lines work. And what else have we got? We've got along the thermometer, digits must increase from the bulb end. So we have a thermo in the grid, and let's say it starts with a 1. This square just has to be greater than 1. So it's like mercury would rise. As the temperature rises, our digits must rise as we go along the thermometer. So we could go 5, 8 or something like that. 1, 5, 8 would be a legitimate way to fill the thermo. do have a go at this one. It sounds interesting, doesn't it? The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, and now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I'm looking forward to this. I get a given digit. Thank you very much to Anonymous and Pietato. I don't know which one of you gave me this, but that's generous indeed. A 3 that's not in the corner, so it doesn't get a song. Thermo's too short to be useful. It must be something to do with the German whispers, probably in conjunction with the knight's moves. So, is it this sort of big German whisper line? Well, I'm thinking about the central box. Let me just think about that for a moment. Yes, okay, it is. I'm sure it's this, because I can't see what else it could be. Let us consider the nature of a German whispers line, because there are 2 things I can tell you about German whispers lines. This is the interesting chap I am. Those things are the following. You can never have a 5 on a German whispers line, and that's because if you try and plot one on there like this, these 2 squares are very difficult to fill, because these have to be 5 away from 5, so they're either 0 or a negative number, or they're 10 or higher, and that doesn't work. So you can never have a 5 on a German whispers line. Now, something that follows from that is that a German whispers line, basically it switches polarity. I'm not allowed to use parity anymore, because of course parity is referring to odd and even numbers, but you can think of it as switching polarity. So if we think about low digits, by which I mean the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4, because we can't put a 5 on the line. Let's imagine this was a low digit. Let's say orange is a low digit. What are these 2 adjacent cells on the line now? Well, they have to be high digits, because they have to be 5 at least away from a low digit. So if this was a 1, 2, 3 or 4, these would have to be a 6, 7, 8 or 9. So they would be high. But then what about the next cell? What about this cell here? Well, this cell has to be at least 5 away from a high digit. So it flicks polarity and it would turn into orange again and be low. And then this would have to be high again. So whether orange is low or high, this is the nature of this line. It must have 2 oranges on it and 3 blues. And this is rather beautiful actually, because this square here, whatever this is, where does it go in the middle box now? Remembering the knight's move constraint. Well, it can't go in these 3 cells by Sudoku, and it can't go in there because that would be a knight's move away, and this would be a knight's move away, and it can't be on a blue square because the blue squares have the opposite polarity to the orange squares. So in fact, that square has to go exactly there in the central box. I'm just wondering how I'm going to show this. No, okay, I don't need to show it because, right, okay, I'm going to make that orange. And I'm going to make that orange because I think it's fair for this to be orange, because we can ask exactly the same question about this digit. Where does this digit go in the central box? Well, again, it can't go in the sort of central cross because of the knight's move constraint, and it can't go on a blue square because the blue squares have the opposite polarity to the orange squares because they're next to each other on the German whispers line. So this square also goes here. And that means that these squares, which didn't have to be the same, are now the same, because they both have only got one position that's legitimate in the central box. So that is beautiful. That is beautiful. So if that's the break-in, I understand what people are saying, because that is really gorgeous as an idea. Now, you could put orange in box 6, look, can't go there now because it would be a knight's move away from its friend. And orange in the same thing. Yeah, there's actually a symmetry here, isn't there? Orange in box 8 can only go at the bottom of column 4 because this would be a knight's move away from its friend. Yes. I wonder why it's called To the Skies. Oh, yes, okay, maybe. Is that, if you look at the green lines, it's not that clear, but it almost looks like a rocket going up in this direction, with this being the sort of the nose cone of the rocket. these being the engines perhaps. But the other thing I'm noticing is that there is a symmetry in this puzzle around this diagonal. All of the German whispers lines are symmetrical around this diagonal, which is why I'm not that surprised I'm getting similar pencil mark logic in boxes 6 and 8. Now, what do we do next? Let me just think about this. So these 3 digits in the central box, depending on what the polarity of orange is, these 3 digits have to be 3 of the 4 possibilities in their polarity. So if these were low digits, these would have to be from 3 of the digits from 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now quite often you can't put a 4 in the middle of a German whispers line because it has to be surrounded on both sides by digits 5 away, which would require 2 9s. And often these cells would be in the same box when you happen to draw German whispers lines. But here, actually, that is absolutely possible, isn't it? You could have double 9 there, and then the 9 would go there. So you can put 4 on the line. So that's very annoying. Okay. So what else are we meant to do here? Surely I can't. I mean, if I could work out the polarity of this German whispers line, or indeed this one, that would be helpful. You know, if I knew that this one, say, went blue, blue, orange, blue, that would be great to know that. But how on earth can you do that? I don't think you can. Orange in box 3 can't go in that domino. Okay. Oh, right, okay. Where does orange go in box 3? Because I don't know which of these cells is orange. I think I'm meant to give these a grey flash when we don't know which is correct. So I'll do that on both sides. So one of these is orange. But that means neither of those cells can be orange. Because of the knight's move constraint. Let's try and make this one orange. It rules itself out of this cell by Sudoku, and it rules itself out of this square because it's a knight's move away. And that same logic applies there as well. So neither of those can be orange. And this can't be orange because it's a knight's move away from that one. And these can't be orange because they're in the same Sudoku row as orange. So orange in box 3 is at least limited a little bit. So now orange in box 1 is in one of 2 places, because that's a knight's move away from orange. Oh, in fact, there's an orange there as well. So orange in box 1 is in one of 2 places. Oh, I see. This is beautiful. Okay. This is beautiful because, of course, because of the symmetry, that logic just works exactly the same way in box 7. Where does the box 7 orange go? Can't go there because of these 2 cells having to contain an orange. Can't go there by knight's move. Can't go there by Sudoku. So there's an orange in one of those, which means that's not an orange. And we get an orange on the thermo. So orange, right, that's interesting. Because now orange can't be a 1 or a 9. And orange can't be a 3. So if orange's polarity is low, yeah, this is lovely. Okay, if orange is a low digit, it cannot be. It can only be a 2, in fact. It can't be a 4. I looked at whether this could be a 4 and concluded annoyingly that it could be, because I could go double 9 there. But what I didn't think about is whether these could be 4s. And they can't be 4s, because if you put 4 here, you have to put double 9 in the blues. And that won't work because these 2 cells are definitely breaking the rules of Sudoku. So if orange is a low digit now, it is a 2. Can't be 3. Can't be 1 because it's halfway up a thermo, and can't be 4 because that would break the central box. But can orange be a high digit? So if orange is a high digit, it's not 9 because it has to be capable of being in the middle of a thermo, and you can't put 10 on a thermo. Can't be 6 because if you put 6 in here, you'd have to put double 1 in the middle box, which doesn't work. So it could be 7 or 8 perhaps. What's wrong with... No, yeah, this is so clever. Right, it's not 7. Because remember, if orange is 7, both of those squares are 7. And that doesn't work now because I've now got 3 digits in the central box that have to be digits that are 5 different from 7. So they have to, they only have the ability to be 1s and 2s. You can't put 3 in one of those squares because it will only be 4 away from 7. That's so clever. Good grief. So now this is 2 or 8. And therefore that's 2 or 8. And that's 2 or 8. So whatever this is, if this is 2, I'm just going to try and think about this. So if this is 2 and that's 2, these digits then can't be 6 and would have to be 7, 8 and 9. And if this is 8, these can't then be 4s, so they'd have to be 1, 2 or 3. So that actually these have lots of options, sorry. They're either 1, 2, 3 or 7, 8, 9, but effectively they have 6 choices. But now we know the parity of this line. Yes, yeah, now we know the parity of this line. So both of those are blue now, because we know that they're the opposite of orange. Oh, good grief, right. Wow, okay. This is sick. This is absolutely sick because there's no requirement for these 2 digits to be the same. In fact, I should label them as different colours initially here. I'm going to prove actually they're the same, but let's label them. They don't have to be the same. They just have to be, they have to be blue in nature because they've got to be the opposite polarity to orange, but they don't have to be the same. Yet they are the same because where does this blue digit go in the middle box? Now the thing that we've got to realise here is because it's connected to a 2 and an 8 on the whispers line, its options are only 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 and 9. That's all it can be because imagine this is a 2. It might be easier with actual example here. If this is a 2, this has to be not a 6. So it would have to be 7, 8 or 9, which is exactly the same as these 2 squares. Because these are 2s, these cells have to be 7, 8 or 9. So now let's ask where this digit, which is now a 7, 8 or 9, goes in the middle box. And the answer is in neither of those 2 squares. So this digit actually has to go there in the middle box. But let's use the symmetry and ask exactly the same question about this digit. Because this digit also can't go here or here because of the knight's move in that direction and Sudoku in that direction. So it also goes there in the middle box. So the symmetry which ran this way down the grid to deal with the orange digits is now running back up the grid to deal with the blue digits. And these 2 digits now have to be the same digit. Because they both have to go in this exact square in the middle box. Now, I'm now wondering whether we can... You are kidding me. Right. I know exactly what happens next in this puzzle because basically we do exactly what we did with the oranges. I'm going to get, in fact, am I? I was just about to say, obviously I don't know whether these are 2s now. In fact, I do now know in my head whether they're 2s. I know that they are not 2s. I know that they are not 2s. In fact, I now know that these are 8s. And I'm going to do an agad mater here because it's worth doing. If you have a look at this pattern and see if you can see how to work out what the yellow digit is, because it's really worth doing. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's worth giving yourself a few seconds to see it, because it will bring tears to your eyes if you do. And now I'm going to show you. Congratulations if you figured it out. But what Magnus Carlsen then did is he asked where yellow goes in this box. And the answer is not there, because if it went there, it would be a knight's move away from its friend. So yellow, the blue-yellow cell is there. Now, where does yellow go in this box? And the answer is not here, because it's a knight's move away from its friend. So that square is blue or yellow. Now look at this. Now look at this box up here, which has 2 of the same digit looking at it. So you can't put those digits there. This is a knight's move away from this one. This one is a knight's move away from this one. And one thing we absolutely know about blue digits are that they are not the same as orange digits. So it cannot go there. So the only cell in box 1 that's available is this one. So that is a blue-yellow digit. And therefore blue-yellow is a 3. And that is going to reveal the secrets of the universe to us, basically. Because now, let's come back to this position. We've now worked out that this digit is a 3 wherever it occurs, and it occurs all over the place. Now, these 2 digits have to be 5 away from 3, i.e. 8. So those are 8s. That's an 8. That must be a 9 to complete the thermo. So it's got to be higher than 8. These digits in the middle box now are the same polarity as 3. Yes, okay, so these are a 1-2 pair now, because they can't be 4s, because 4 is too close to 8 in both instances. Well, that is beautiful. If that's the break-in, fair play. Fair play, Euronymous. You have found something quite, well, utterly miraculous, to be honest. That is, it is so clever, the way that it went down the grid first to sort of do the orange digits, and then back up the grid to do the blue digits. And this thermo, the magic that works. The magic that works to limit the ability of this to be an extreme digit. It's so elegant. It really is. Good grief. But what do we do with this now? So now we know things about blues and yellows. Oh, sorry, blues and oranges. I'm almost wondering whether I need to make these different colours now, because I know these are different digits. Yeah, so for example, this one I know has to go in one of those 3 squares in box. Or maybe I could just give them blue flashes. That might work as well. Sorry, just a flash of purple here. So whatever this digit is, can't go in any of those squares, look, because of the knight's move constraint. So it has to go up there. And therefore it has to go over here. Which might be interesting. This one. Oh, this is all getting a bit. It's all getting a bit fiddly, isn't it? Because I'm getting very. I'm getting confused about my colours. I think I'm going to have to. Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm actually going to get rid of some colours here, because I'm not as good at Mark as doing the flashy colour. You know, the 2 colours, and I'm having difficulty seeing what's going on. So I just want to label those with different colours. Actually, green's a silly choice, so let's use yellow. Can I see all the green behind it? I can. Right, so I know this digit goes in one of those cells. Now, it can't go here, because that's a knight's move away from its friend. So one of those two digits is purple, and therefore purple is in one of these three cells. And then I was trying to look at what this one did, but I couldn't see it because this box had become so colourful. Now, those can't be yellow, that can't be yellow, that can't be yellow. So yellow's in one of these. Now, yellow is the same polarity as its friend, but we don't know whether this square is on the whispers line or not. If it is on the whispers line, then we would know that sort of opposite position would also be a low digit. I can't see how yellow's restricted here, actually. Purple. Oh, of course, no, it's symmetry. Right. So, actually, what I should have been thinking is when I could see that this purple domino was the limit of where purple could go in box number 4, the symmetrical counterpart of that in this puzzle is not here for yellow, it's here, because of the symmetry. So if we ask where yellow goes in this box, it's also locked into a domino. So yellow is in one of those cells. Yeah, okay, so now that cell cannot be a 1, 2 or a 3. So if the polarity of this cell is low, it has to be a 4 with a 9. Oh, wow. Oh, no way. Right, okay. Let's look at this line, because this is so clever. This cell was where I was looking, that one there. I was seeing that it could see 3 low parity digits because it sees the purple, which is a 1 or a 2. It sees the yellow by Sudoku, and it sees the 3. But I think the trick is look at this cell. Now, what is the polarity? Well, could this cell be a low digit? That's the question. Now, if it's a low digit, it can't be yellow because it sees yellow by knight's move. It cannot be purple because it sees all 3 of those squares because of the knight's move constraint and Sudoku. So it's not 1 or 2. And it can't be 3 because it's got 3 in its row. So if this is low, it's a 4. Now, why does this matter? Well, one thing we know about a 2-cell German whispers line is it must have a low digit on it because it's going to alternate parity. So one of these digits is low. So now there is definitely a 4 on this whispers line. And if there's a 4 on it, the digit that's 5 away from 4 is, you've guessed it, 9. So this is a 4-9 pair. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous setting. Don't tell me that works here as well, does it? It might well do, you know. No, it does. The symmetry is identical. There's no reason it shouldn't. This square is the really beautiful one because it sees the purple, it sees all of the yellow, and it sees a 3. So if that's low, it's a 4. And this one obviously sees purple, yellow, and 3. So the only low digit you can put on this 2-cell thermo is a 4, so it's a 4-9 pair. There's a 9 in its column, so we can do it. It's a 4 there and a 9 here. So 9 is now, oh, for goodness sake. Yeah, okay, right. Where is 9 in box 2? 9 is not in those cells or this one by knight's move. So 9 is on this, it's in a domino here. Wherever you get a digit in a knight's move puzzle that's in a domino, always look for cells like this one, which is seeing both of those squares. If you put 9 here now, you can't put a 9 at all in box 2. It's ruled out because this domino sees that cell. So that's got to be 4, that's got to be 9. And that's really interesting as well because that wasn't the same logic that gave us this 4-9 combination. Oh yeah, okay, so it was the thermo that gave us this one. And then this little German Whisper, which did the work on this one. So now 9 is restricted, very restricted. Oh yeah, in fact it's placed. Right, okay, so this bounces back now into box 3, which none of those cells can be a 9, and 4 is not 9, so 9 goes here, 9 goes here. 9 in the middle box is, yes, placed, it's got to go there. That's got to be a 9. We're getting a lot of 9s done actually. Yeah, we're getting, I think we've got all the 9s because I think I've got 7 in, and I think I can place the 9 in box 7, which can't go there because of Knight's move, or here by Sudoku. So that's a 9, and now there are 4 9s looking at box 9, and whenever you get 4 of a digit looking at a box of a Sudoku, you can always fill that digit in. So that should be all the 9s. Now, what do we look for next? Is it 4s? 4s in this box are restricted to 2 cells, which means they're probably restricted down here. Yes, to 2 cells. Or 3s maybe. Look, 3s have to be in one of those 2 cells. 3s in one of these 2 cells. Ooh, what about 3 in box 9, one of those 3 cells? How many 3s have we got in the grid? We've got 6. Okay, and I've pencil marked all the others, and they're miles away from each other, so we're not going to get Knight's moves to help us. Okay. Oh dear, we might be about to be stuck, I fear. Oh, 8. I can place 8 in box 6. Why couldn't I get that before? Oh, maybe I... Yeah, I think what I had originally was some shading where I put the 8 into this domino, and then I got a 9 here, so I could have immediately seen if I'd left my earlier shading that that had to be an 8. Now, probably that works the same. Yes, it works identically in box 8, of course, because of symmetry. So now we should have loads of 8s, and we've got this sort of rocket shape of 8s in the grid. So, can we do better than that? 8 in box 9. No, I don't think so. 8 in box 7 is in one of 2 places, which is presumably mimicked, yes, and is mimicked in box 3 by the mad symmetry. Okay. So, now we're starting to get stuck. So I've done 9s, I've looked at 3s, I did look at 4s, but I've only got 2 4s and they're miles away from each other. What else could I do? I've looked at 8s. So it must, is it 1s and 2s? Have I not exhausted what I can do with those? Let me think about that. Hang on a second. I sort of want to be able to do something with 1s and 2s in this box, but I don't see how to do it. I can definitely rule 1 and 2 out of 2 positions, but that still seems to leave 4 positions for 1s and 2s. Oh, I know what it'll be. It'll be German Whispers. I've got a 9 on this line. Yes, so those have to be low parity. So they have to be 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s in theory. And that one can't be 3. Oh, look, this 4 sees that one. So this one is a 1 or a 2. So this one is purple. Aha! So that's purple. Oh, I was about to say that means that one's yellow, but I suppose that isn't true, is it? It's perfect. Yeah, this is not like a Renban where these digits have to be different. These digits could be the same. Ah. Although, if that's purple, you get purple there and there. Purple here. No, that might work actually. That can't be 4. Oh, hang on. That can't be 3 or 4 by Sudoku. Do Sudoku first, Simon, in the Sudoku puzzles. So this is 1 or 2. It really would be nice if it wasn't... Can I get the colour of this square? If this is yellow in box... No, yellow's still got loads of cells it can go into. In box 6. Oh dear, we're reaching a bit of an impasse here. And I've got asymmetry between the digits I've managed to place on this German Whispers line, and in fact I've got nothing on that German Whispers line. Although I do note you can't put a 4 on this German Whispers line or a 3. So I think that means there must be a yellow in this domino, because there must be a low parity digit on any domino on a German Whispers line, and neither of these squares can be a 3 or a 4 or a purple. So there's a yellow in one of those 2 cells, and that means there's a yellow in one of these 2 cells. It's getting very interesting. Can't be here because that would be a yellow, a knight's move away from its friend. What about that digit then? So if that was yellow, that would have to be low parity. Couldn't be 3 or 4. Could perhaps be yellow or purple though. So what am I missing here? What are we missing? It looks to me like we're heading towards these 2 squares being low parity, doesn't it? It looks like these might be a 1-2 pair. Oh, bobbins, right, yes, I do know how to do this. Well, at least I know how to show this digit here is a 1 or a 2. Because, where does that digit... We looked really hard at the start of the puzzle about those 2 cells, but now I want to look at this cell. Where does this cell go in the central box? And the answer is... Well, we can rule it out of the cross due to the knight's move restriction. It's definitely not an 8, because there's an 8 already in the box here. So this is not an 8, so it's not there. There's a 3 in the box, so this square here is not a 3. So this square here must go in one of the coloured cells, and therefore it is a 1 or a 2. Now does that hold true for this cell as well, therefore? Yeah, this one's got a 3 and an 8 as well. So again, the symmetry helps us out. So that square is also a 1 or a 2. Now that means, yeah, this is so beautiful. Right, so that's all I need to tell me about the parity of this one and this one, because of the 4s we've got seeing these squares, and the 3s we've got placed seeing these squares as well, and knowing these 2 squares now have to have the same parity as their friend here, because of the alternating parity on the Whispers line, that means this square here is a 1 or a 2. Well, and both of those squares are a 1-2 pair. So now we can get rid of those squares. We can colour these in purple. We know the middle digit along the Whispers line now must be 5 away from a 2. So it can't be anything other than 7, because 8s and 9s have already been placed. So now 7 in... 7... No, I thought 7 was going to be useful. We've got 4, 5, 6 triples in both of these boxes now to finish them off. We can get rid of 4s from those squares. We've got... what does that mean? What does that mean? Yes, got it. Right, now I'm going to come back to my domino here. because my domino here must have a high digit on it, and that high digit is not 9, 8 or 7. So it must be 6. And if there's a 6 in one of those two squares, the digit that it's next to, from a German Whispers perspective, must be 5 away from 6, so must be a 1. So there, that is a 1-6 pair, which means that my purple is now a 2. So 2 goes there, 1 goes here. Oh, I don't know what that one is. These, oh, come on. What's that? How do I resolve that? That must be resolved somehow. Then that's not a 6. So this square is a 4 or a 5 just to complete row 6 of the grid. Why can't I resolve my purples and 1s now? I mean my 1s and 2s. I don't know why I can't see how to do it. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not seeing how to do it. There must. I feel like that's a very natural step, though. So if this was the 6, that would also have to be a 1, and that would resolve my 1s and 2s. But there's no requirement for this to be a 6. If this is a, yeah, okay, if this is a 6, this is a 1. If this is a 1, though, this just has to have high parity of any type. So it could be 6 or 7. And I can't see whether I can reduce the possibilities for this cell further, I'm afraid. So what do I need in the central box then? I need 4s, 5s, 6s and 7s. But I don't really know very much about 4s, 5s, 6s and 7s, do I? I know a little bit about 7s. That digit has to go there in the central box, so those two digits are the same. So that's right, that's interesting. Okay, hang on, there's something here, look. These two digits are the same by Sudoku, and now this digit is not the same as that one, so that needs a different colour. We'll use, oh, I've not used blue yet, that can be blue. So this column now, look, has got a blue-grey 5-6 pair, a purple-yellow 1-2 pair, a 9-8 and a 3. So those squares are 4 and 7. And that means... Oh, come on. That means what? That means that... if that's a 4, you get 4 here and here. Oh, no, that doesn't. Right, that's beautiful. Actually, that is beautiful. I didn't see this 4. Right, if that's a 4, because of the knight's move constraint and a bit of Sudoku, the 4 in boxes 6 and 8 gets locked into these two cells. And now, look at this 4 and these 4s. 4 4s looking at box 9, so we know we can now place the 4 in box 9 there, but that cell is double broken because it sees 2 4s by knight's move. So that is not right. That doesn't work. So that square in the middle is a 7. That's a 4. Now there's a 4 up here. And come on, is this the... now this is a 2-7 pair. Because 7 is now locked into the same domino that I've got my 2s locked into in this box, which means that square's got to be a 4 or a 5. I don't believe it. It's still not cracking, is it? Oh no, that is cracking it. Now that 4 is seeing it. Let's do Sudoku, Simon. 5, 4, 5, 6, 4. Come on. Oh, that was exciting for a moment. 4 is now in one of 2 places in box 9. This 6 must repeat here, so we get the 6 and the 5 in the middle column, which means those 2 squares are now a 4-5 pair. don't know if they're resolved. Probably they are by some sort of knight's move trickery, but I can't immediately see how to do that. That's got to be a 5 or a 6. I wonder if I can get the same... Can I get the same sort of deduction that I got with the 2s and the 7s? No, I probably... No, I can. Yes, I can do it exactly the same. That must be a 1-7 pair at the top of the grid. So this square is a 5 or a 6. But unlike, yeah, that was resolved on this side by the 4 here, but here it's not resolved because I don't have the same potency arising from this 4. I'm trying to do this too much by symmetry, probably. Okay, so we're going to have to keep thinking. What, or can I resolve this 1-6 pair now? Because that would be very useful, especially if this was the 6. What else do we need in this column? 2s. Oh, yeah, okay, where does 2 go in that column? That's a good question. I think it can only go here because of this 2 and what else we put in. Yeah, the fact this can't be a 2, and it really can't be a 2. No, it really can't be. So that's a 2, that's a 2, and that's a 1, and that means we can do some tidying up of our colours. So that becomes purple. Purple is now in this domino. In box 9. 1. That's really weird though, because it just seems to stop there, doesn't it? So that cell is 1, 6 or 7. Surely something is ruling this. No, I don't know that it is. So the equivalent of this column by symmetry is this row, but this row is less constrained. 1, 2, 5, 6 or 7. So can we rule anything particularly out of that? 1, 2, 5, 6 or 7, I'm not sure. 1, 2, 3 and 6 in row 8. Ah, that square's restricted. That can't be 1 or 6. So this square is just, that's it. Look, this square is beautiful. It sees a 1-6 pair by knight's move there and a 2 here. So that is a naked single 3, I think. Which is not... Oh, come on. I don't know if it's doing anything beyond locking my 3 into one of those squares. I suppose it tells me these 3 digits. They've now got to be a 1, 2, 6 combo. That might be helpful. We can get rid of 6 from here and 1 from here. Is that all we can do? Oh, no, no, no. Look at this one. I saw it saw a 1. I didn't see, until now, it sees a 2 as well. That's got to be a 6. So now we know that that is a yellow-orange pair. That, I've noticed, can be awarded yellow... Sorry, not yellow-orange, yellow-purple. What am I talking about? So maybe this column now. Can we do that? Possibly. We need 5s, 7s and 8s. Oh yes, beautiful. Where does 5 go in this column? This 5 sees both of those squares. So 5 goes at the top. That must be an 8 now. That resolves the 6 here, the 5 here, the 5 here, the 4 here. Places a 4 here then. That must be a 6. That's no longer a 6. So, is that good enough to resolve this cell? If that's a 1, that has to go 6, 1. If that's a 7, it's got to go 1, 6. And I think both of those work. That's so strange. Okay, that probably is resolved in some way I'm not spotting. I apologise about that. Right, how can we use this 8 up here? That's placing an 8 in one of 2 cells in box 9. And the other digit we're missing in this column, look, is a 7. So that's a 7-8 pair and it isn't resolved. And the other digits that we need to place down here then are 3, 4 and 5. And that is resolved. So we can go 5, 3, 4. And I'm sure that that's going to be incredibly helpful, he said. hoping. That gets me a 3 at the top. Okay, I'll take anything at this point. This column is nice, isn't it? Because this has got to be a 6-7 pair, although it doesn't seem to be resolved, but that is a 6-7 pair. I've now got a 1-6-7 triple in row 2, which means that square ought to be a 5, which looks like it's working from a Sudoku perspective, which is good. That's a 5 now. I suspect, yes, all the 5s are finished. Maybe, where should we look now? What about that square? So that's, yes, what about this square? This square is going to do it, because that is a 1 or a 2, and it sees a 2. So that's got to be 1, that's 2, that's 2, that's 1, that's 2, and that's 1, and that's a lot of, this 1 is good, so we get 7 and 1 here. So that becomes 6 or 7. That becomes 6 or 7. Something must be resolving this, he said, praying. I can't see what it is. So this is 2 and 4. Again, I'm expecting it to be resolved and can't see how it is. And these are 1, 6 and 7. And unfortunately, this square could be any of those. So this bulb of the thermometer has really let the world down. But this 1 is ruling itself out of there by Knight's move. So that would seem to suggest that's got to be a 1. So now I can see that 1 has to go here, which makes this a 6 and this therefore a 1. The 6 is resolving the 6 and the 7. That resolves the 7 and the 6. The 7 is beautiful. It sees the 2 and the 7 there, which resolves the 2 and the 4. What a puzzle. What a puzzle this is. You can see we must put a 7 in this row. So 7, 8. That should be an 8. And if I've not made an error, we're looking down here at... Oh, no, that's okay. 6 and 7. Sorry, I just had a moment's hiccup there. Have we done it? Yay! Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. It's taken me a long time, 52 minutes, so I'm not sure that qualifies as really approachable, but that is it's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. I don't think I need to say more than that. The ideas around these digits both having to be locked into this cell at the start, and then the way that you could lock this digit into this position on the thermo was quite gorgeous. But then I think the real majesty of this is this. It's a 3-cell German whisper line. It doesn't look like it's doing anything, but you could get the polarity of these, and that's all you needed to lock these 3 squares to having to be the same. And once we knew those 3 squares were the same, we could reverse the logic and lock this square to being red. It's just, it's magnificent. It's just jaw-dropping what these constructors are able to do with these numbers. They make them dance at the moment, and it is quite startling to see. So thank you very much to Euronymous for the break-in, to Pietato for finishing the puzzle off. Between the two of you, you have come up with something quite exceptional, and you should both take a bow, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic. So I should say bye for now, or if you're a fan of Mr. Goodlift, bye for Kate. See you next time.